Nike has made a big announcement about Caitlin Clark sneakers.
When Nike dropped the brand new Caitlin Clark sneakers, the internet exploded, but not everyone was celebrating. Angel Reese, who's been at the center of almost every WNBA headline this year, didn't take kindly to seeing Clark dominate yet another spotlight.
Nike has released official images of Caitlin Clark's second Kobe Protro sneaker, the Kobe 6 in light army blue, featuring a fox reptile skin upper, bloodic blue accents, and cushion foam for enhanced performance. The design honors Kobe Bryant's Black Mamba and was first worn by the Indiana Fever star during her 2024 rookie season. The sneakers are scheduled for launch on November the 12th.
As social media went wild over the shoe reveal, Reese's reaction sparked an online storm that had fans, reporters, and even other players chiming in, from subtle shade to full-on meltdowns. What happened next exposed a deeper tension simmering beneath the league's surface, one that's been building ever since Caitlin Clark arrived.
And it will be starting at $190. Nike sneakers and select retailers are building Caitlin Clark 8-year endorsement deal with the brand. Now, we haven't heard anything, like I stated, about Caitlin Clark actual signature shoes, but these are the sneakers that is scheduled to drop November the 12th, man. These things are nice. They are really, really, really nice. I love the colorway. You could throw these together with a fire fit. I ain't gonna hold you. These are nice.
It all started with Nike's surprise announcement. Official images of Caitlin Clark's new sneakers hit the web, and within minutes, every corner of social media lit up. Fans couldn't stop talking about the design, the colorway, and what it symbolized. A new era where Clark wasn't just the face of the Indiana Fever, but the next global brand in women's basketball.
Not to mention, they're even better basketball shoes. So if some of you guys are basketball players, you know what I'm saying, these are good shoes. My son, he got the Grinches of these. And yeah, they are nice. It says something blue is nearly here. Caitlin Clark Nike Prototype 6 Light Army Blue is expected to release November the 12th. So this is the biggest sneaker news that's coming out.
The shoes, inspired by Kobe Bryant's signature line, carried the same sleek aesthetic, a tribute to the Mamba mentality that Clark had embodied all season. Nike didn't just drop a sneaker. They dropped a statement. The reaction was immediate and massive. Sports sites ran headlines calling it the biggest WNBA collaboration of the decade. Clark's supporters flooded X and Instagram with excitement, sharing images and pre-order links, while sneakerheads speculated that the first batch would sell out within hours. Even NBA players chimed in, congratulating her for breaking another barrier.
As of right now, and it was trended online, man, about Caitlin Clark shoes. It said official images. Now this say starting at 200. I don't know, man, but I do know those first releases, they're reselling right now for like $400. I think I looked it up last night. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. So as you guys can see here, they're reselling. I don't know, these are probably fake, but this is about right. They're $420 on StockX.
But amid the celebration, one person seemed noticeably unamused, Angel Reese. While Caitlin Clark's name trended worldwide, Reese posted a series of cryptic messages to her Instagram stories. No names were mentioned, but the timing was too perfect to ignore. Phrases like, "Some people get everything handed to them, and real ones earn it the hard way," set social media ablaze. Fans immediately connected the dots, assuming the posts were subtle shots aimed at Clark's Nike deal. Blogs and sports pages were picking it apart, debating whether Reese was jealous or simply keeping it real. Either way, it didn't matter. The attention shifted straight to her.
Trending on Twitter, man. Caitlin Clark is back trending on Twitter, which is great. You know, this is great for the Caitlin Clark cause, because we know ultimately what this means.
What was supposed to be Clark's victory lap turned into a league-wide debate about favoritism, brand bias, and how corporate deals shape modern athletes. But as the buzz grew louder, Reese didn't back down. She doubled down, ready to make her frustration known to the world. As the sneaker hype reached fever pitch, Angel Reese took to social media again, this time less cryptic and far more confrontational. She started liking posts that questioned Nike's loyalty to WNBA diversity, hinting that some players get praise just for showing up, while others fight for every inch. Within hours, fans noticed Screenshots spread, and the narrative flipped. Angel wasn't just upset, she was furious. What began as quiet envy quickly snowballed into what many called a full-on tantrum. Live and unfiltered across the internet, Twitter and TikTok became battlegrounds. Clips of Reese's past interviews resurfaced, where she'd mentioned not needing validation from big brands. But now, her tone seemed different. In a deleted post, she wrote, "It's crazy how some people get everything before proving anything." That line alone exploded, with thousands of replies calling it a direct jab at Caitlin Clark. Supporters of Reese defended her, saying she was simply voicing frustration about how corporate America treats media darlings differently. But critics saw it as bitterness, disguised as empowerment. Nike's marketing campaign didn't help calm the storm. They released a behind-the-scenes promo showing Caitlin designing her prototype, testing colors, and talking about her partnership with Kobe Bryant's legacy. To fans, it was inspiring. To Reese's loyal base, it was salt in the wound. Comments flooded her posts, half supporting her, half mocking her reaction. Some accused her of throwing shade instead of shooting shots. By the next morning, Angel had unfollowed several WNBA pages and even turned off comments on her own profile. But it was too late. The internet had already made up its mind. The headlines wrote themselves, "Angel Reese melts down after Caitlin Clark's Nike reveal." And yet, deep beneath the drama, there was something more complicated brewing, a mix of insecurity, rivalry, and the painful truth about who the league really chooses to promote. By the following day, the story had spun completely out of control. Sports commentators, YouTubers, and fan podcasts dissected every post emoji and facial expression from Angel Reese like it was a national scandal. The conversation wasn't just about shoes anymore, it was about power, attention, and the invisible hierarchy inside the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's sneakers had become a symbol of success, and Reese's reaction was being painted as the opposite: resentment in motion. ESPN panels debated whether Angel was unfairly targeted or if her behavior fueled the narrative. Some analysts defended her, saying that her frustration came from years of watching women's basketball stars be overlooked unless they fit a specific image. Angel came from the grind, one commentator said. Caitlin had the golden path from Iowa to Nike. Others disagreed, claiming that Reese's constant social media outbursts were hurting her own brand more than helping it. The word jealousy was trending beside her name, and it wasn't leaving anytime soon. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark stayed silent. No comments, no shade, no response. That silence was powerful. Fans took it as proof that Clark was above the drama, focused on her game and legacy, while Reese was spiraling online. Clips from Clark's previous interviews, where she humbly credited her teammates and fans, resurfaced. Making the contrast even sharper, every quiet move from Caitlin amplified the chaos around Angel. But what truly stung Reese wasn't just the media coverage, it was the public comparison. Memes flooded the internet, showing Clark's sneakers next to Reese's facial reactions from past games. TikToks mocked her jealousy. Even rival players subtly liked posts praising Clark's professionalism. For Angel, it wasn't just about losing the spotlight, it was about watching her rival control it, effortlessly, as the narrative tightened its grip. One thing became clear: Angel Reese wasn't just battling Caitlin Clark anymore, she was battling her own image. And the harder she pushed back, the more the internet turned her emotions into entertainment. What started as a sneaker release had now become a headline war. Every sports outlet, gossip, blog, and social media influencer had something to say about the Reese versus Clark saga. ESPN ran back-to-back segments dissecting the situation, while TMZ called it the biggest off-court drama in WNBA history. Even talk shows outside the sports world joined in, turning what could have been a simple marketing story into a cultural storm. Angel Reese wasn't just trending anymore, she was under a microscope. Commentators began drawing parallels between past sports rivalries, comparing Angel's reaction to classic tension-filled moments like Shaq versus Kobe or Serena versus Sharapova, except this wasn't just about athletic competition, it was about image. Nike had crowned Caitlin Clark as the face of the league, while Angel's raw confidence and emotion were being twisted into headlines that screamed unhinged, jealous, and unstable. The coverage wasn't just constant, it was cruel. For days, Angel couldn't open her phone without seeing her name plastered. Next to Caitlyn's, the contrast was impossible to ignore. Clark was being praised for poise and grace, while Reese was being mocked for attitude and drama. That imbalance set the internet ablaze. Supporters of Angel began fighting back, accusing the media of bias and racial double standards. They pointed out how passion from one player was celebrated, while the same passion from another was criticized. The debate grew louder than the original sneaker announcement itself. But amidst all the noise, Nike stayed silent. They didn't mention Angel, didn't clarify any rumors, didn't address the social firestorm. Instead, they leaned into the moment, pushing Clark's sneaker campaign harder. With more ads, more promo shots, and even athlete endorsements, the move only deepened the divide. Angel's fans saw it as corporate favoritism. Caitlyn's fans saw it as well-deserved recognition. By this point, what had begun as a business move had turned into a battle for respect, and both sides were digging in. But Angel wasn't ready to stay quiet. In fact, her next move would only escalate everything further. After days of non-stop headlines and endless online trolling, Angel Reese decided she'd had enough. The silence from Nike and the flood of memes mocking her every move pushed her over the edge. Late one night, she went live on Instagram, not through a PR team or press release, but straight from her phone, unfiltered and emotional. The live instantly drew thousands of viewers, fans waiting to see if she'd finally address the drama head, and she did. With a mix of anger and exhaustion in her voice, Reese said she was tired of being painted as the villain. She told viewers that she worked hard for every opportunity and wasn't about to let social media twist her words. "Y'all love when I show passion on the court," she said, "but the second I speak up, I'm jealous. Make it make sense." The comments section exploded. Some cheered her on, calling her brave for speaking her truth. Others accused her of deflecting, saying she was only adding more fuel to the fire. Then came the moment that broke the internet. Reese directly referenced the Nike deal, saying, "I see what they doing. They picking their star, and it's not me. But it's cool, I'll build my own lane." That one line became a viral soundbite overnight. Influencers, talk shows, and even WNBA insiders reposted it with captions like, "Angel finally snaps," and "Reese versus Nike begins." Within hours, her live was trending on X, and clips of her speech racked up millions of views. Her tone wasn't rehearsed. It was real, frustrated, and raw. Even some of her critics admitted they understood her side after hearing her out. But while Angel's fans rallied behind her, the damage was already done. Major media outlets were now framing the entire saga as a meltdown. Instead of cooling the fire, her emotional outburst turned it into an inferno. Nike still hadn't responded. Caitlin Clark stayed silent. And now the question became, how far would Angel go to reclaim control of her own story? As Angel Reese's live continued to circulate, all eyes turned to Nike. Fans expected a statement, some kind of response to address the growing firestorm. But Nike didn't say a word. Their social media accounts stayed polished and promotional, still featuring Caitlin Clark's sneakers and highlight clips. Behind the scenes, though, executives were reportedly monitoring every second of the chaos. The company wasn't just dealing with a PR they were navigating a cultural minefield between two of the most polarizing figures in the league. Inside the WNBA, the mood grew tense. Players started taking sides, some quietly liking Angel's posts, others reposting Nike's ads, celebrating Caitlin. Locker rooms turned into whispered debate zones. Coaches and PR teams begged players to stay out of it, but it was too late. The rivalry had split the internet, and now it was dividing the league. A few insiders even hinted that Reese's outburst might cost her future endorsements, while others said it might actually make her more marketable as the rebel of the WNBA. Reporters started digging into Nike's endorsement strategy. Articles surfaced comparing Caitlin Clark's 8-year deal to Angel's smaller brand partnerships, questioning why the company poured so much money into one athlete. Some analysts defended the decision, pointing to Clark's record-breaking college career and global appeal. Others saw a pattern, one that mirrored how marketing often favored specific narratives over pure performance. Even as the tension built, Caitlin Clark remained completely silent. Her focus appeared to be on training and team commitments, while her PR team maintained total discipline. That silence was strategic. It kept her untouchable. Every time Reese spoke out, it only made Clark's calm composure more powerful. By the end of the week, the WNBA found itself in an awkward position, trying to celebrate progress while managing a full-blown media circus. Nike's silence was deafening, but their actions spoke louder than any press release could. Angel had thrown the first punch. Nike had absorbed it, and by staying quiet, they might have landed the stronger one. As the days passed, the internet found new fuel for the fire. What started as a sneaker debate had transformed into a cultural clash. Fans began framing Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese as symbols of two opposing worlds, one representing calm corporate precision, the other fierce individuality and emotion. TikTok flooded with edits comparing the two, turning their rivalry into a storyline bigger than basketball. Every clip, every reaction, every tweet became a new episode in a drama no one could stop watching. Angel's supporters doubled down. They launched hashtags like #Stand with Angel and #LetWomenBePassionate, arguing that she was punished for being authentic. They highlighted how male athletes are often praised for their fire, but women get labeled as emotional or unstable. The movement gained traction fast, pulling in fans who had never even watched a WNBA game. Angel's name was suddenly everywhere, not as the villain, but as the voice of defiance. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's fans pushed back just as hard. They flooded comment sections with clips of Caitlin signing autographs for kids, staying late after games, and quietly inspiring millions without needing to clap back online. To them, Clark's restraint wasn't privilege, it was professionalism. Her silence became a statement of its own, reinforcing the image Nike wanted to project: calm, disciplined greatness. The league's social media team tried to balance the tension by celebrating both players in separate posts, but that only made things worse. Every neutral caption was dissected as bias. Every highlight comparison reignited the fire. Even celebrities began choosing sides, turning a sneaker drop into a nationwide conversation about branding, bias, and the double standards women face in sports. Angel Reese had started as a player fighting for respect. Now, she was the face of a movement, one that challenged the system itself. But as the public battle intensified, it also came with a cost. Fame had given Angel a voice, but it had also made her every word a weapon. And the next thing she said would determine whether she rose above the chaos or got buried under it. After weeks of nonstop chaos, Angel Reese finally took a step back. Her team's management urged her to go dark on social media, to stop feeding the headlines that had turned her every post into clickbait. But behind the scenes, she wasn't staying quiet. She was planning her next move. Her PR team reached out to media outlets for a long-form interview, one that would let her tell her side of the story without filters, edits, or viral soundbites. The goal was simple: reclaim the narrative before it consumed her. When the interview finally dropped, it felt different. Gone was the defensive, fiery tone that fueled her earlier posts. This time, Angel sounded reflective, still confident, but grounded. She admitted that emotions had gotten the best of her. "I'm human," she said. "I care about my legacy, and sometimes that passion comes out messy." She didn't mention Caitlin Clark by name, but her message was clear. She wasn't jealous. She was frustrated with a system that seemed to favor one image of greatness over another. The interview hit harder than expected. Fans who once mocked her began to empathize. Even some of Clark's supporters admitted that Reese made valid points about media, bias, and how female athletes are boxed into specific roles. Suddenly, the same internet that tore her apart started calling for unity. Clips from the interview went viral, but this time not because of anger, because of honesty. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark finally broke her silence in a short press conference, saying, "There's room for all of us to win." It was brief but powerful, shifting the conversation toward reconciliation. For a moment, the league felt lighter. The rivalry that once divided fans now symbolized growth, competition, and progress. Angel Reese had turned public chaos into clarity, proof that even in the eye of a storm, redemption is possible. But deep down, everyone knew the rivalry wasn't truly over. It had just evolved from bitterness to balance, from envy to evolution. The story of Angel and Caitlin had become bigger than sneakers, bigger than fame. It was now about what it means to fight for your place in history. In the end, the Caitlin Clark sneaker launch became more than just a marketing moment. It was a mirror reflecting everything simmering beneath the WNBA's surface. Angel Reese's emotional outburst, Nike's quiet power play, and the public's split reaction all showed how fame, image, and identity collide in modern sports. But through all the noise, both athletes emerged stronger. Clark as the calm face of a new era, Reese as the unapologetic voice challenging its rules. And together, their rivalry reignited a league that suddenly had everyone watching, arguing, and finally caring again.